Alright, hey, what's up, YouTube? Alright, so this is gonna be my second video today. Um, and this one is gonna be, I guess, less parody and less comedy than it is gonna be about some real talk about different things that are happening in different countries that you often hear people in America who want these changes. They point to these other countries and they go, well, it works there, and then they want to say, well, if it works there, it can work here, blah, 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 blah. All right. And two of those that you hear the most of is free education and socialized health care. Now, I oppose both of those. I'm very conservative in my views. So, a while back, I told y'all before I get into like arguments or debates or whatever you want to call them online, and like I said, a lot of these people, they use the excuse, well, if it works there, it can work here, and other industrialized nations do this and stuff like that. Now, one of my arguments, and I'm gonna try my best to find it, because like I said, I've argued these with these people online, and so I have my side of the arguments. Um, I'm hoping that I can screenshot some of it from Facebook, and incorporate it into the video. But one of the things that we talked about when I talk about socialized health care is how America has an obesity problem. Um, and obesity leads to other health problems that are self-induced. Nobody forces you to eat. Nobody forces you to go to, eat fast foods all the time. Literally some of the things that. Now, I'm not saying all obesity is self-induced. I'm not saying that at all. Some people have medical conditions and they cannot help being overweight. I get that. We're not talking about them people. Um, but obesity causes a plethora of health conditions: heart disease, diabetes. You know, and I'm obviously a chunky fella. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just play like I'm not, because I don't have a good diet. I don't exercise like I should. There's a lot of things that I could do to improve my health, and I don't. It's a conscious decision on my part to not do these things. Sorry, I had to kind of get readjusted, but so anyway, like I said, I've had these discussions in the past, and because I know that people's diets and the way they eat and the lack of exercise and all these things that they do and they bring upon themselves that lead to other health conditions, I'm not willing to pay for health care if you don't give a crap about your health. I don't expect people to pay for mine. I don't want to pay for somebody else's. Now, like I said, I'll try to find my argument from Facebook, but here is the kicker. The UK, where they have single payer or universal health care, is trying to either pass a law or they're have passed it. I believe they're trying to get it passed. I don't think it's actually done it yet. But whether it's passed or not is irrelevant. The point that it was even brought up exposes what is the next logical step if the government is paying for your health care. Okay? Um, If the government is paying for your health care, then they get to dictate your health. And what I mean by that is this: the new law that they're trying to pass in the UK is trying to tell restaurants that they cannot serve certain meals or certain foods over a certain calorie count. All right, so I moved obviously from the bedroom. I got tired of laying there. So I moved to my living room, but I'm still like feeling like crap. But so anyway, I want to show how socialism, even socialist policies, can lead to an authoritarian government. Okay? So I mentioned that I'd argued, before. My argument was this: if I'm paying for your health care, then I should get to dictate what you do, what you eat, what you drink, how often you go to the gym, what activities you engage in, things of this nature. Because all these things dictate your health. And if I'm paying for it, then I should be able to control what impacts your health. So the government in the UK has taken this next logical step. With a single payer program, UK is starting to run into some of the similar problems that we have in America, which is obesity. And in order to combat that, because they're dealing with obesity, their response to that, because the government pays for everybody's health care, basically, the government is now removing their choices of what they get to eat or what they can eat, or at least what they can order. Here is a screenshot from a newspaper article that I was reading, and you can see where they're making restaurants take certain menu items off the menu because it exceeds a calorie count. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't still get like a burger, but you, instead of being able to order a combo, you have to order everything individually, or um, you would have to order two of the smaller burgers in order to get the same amount of food as you would in ordering like one of the bigger burgers. Um, so now here is an example of Domino's Pizza. They're saying now that you can't order a large, like, pepperoni pizza. So in order for you to consume the same amount of food, now you have to buy two medium pizzas or two small pizzas, which is more money. And so I guess that's the way that they're trying to control it, is if you want to eat the same amount of food, you have to spend more money for that food, because they want to restrict your calorie intake, your food, what you order. It's basically the same idea that Democrats had in New York by saying you can't get like a soda that's over so many ounces because they want to reduce your sugar intake. Well, that's up to me. I don't. You're removing my freedom of choice to get something, or you're making me pay more money for two of the same thing that would equal what one of the old one. You know what I'm saying? So it's really stupid, but it's obviously it's why I said it's literally the next step. If they pay for your if they pay for services that you use, then they can start to dictate your choices. Another example of this is Section 8 housing in America. It's affordable housing. It's where the government basically steps in and pays for a portion of your rent. Because the rent for the apartments or homes or whatever that you're living in is dictated by how much money you make. So the government subsidizes the rest of the rent. But because they do that, they get to dictate certain things about how you live. Like, can you have pets? The answer to that is no. Um, they can even dictate your your visitors and what curfew that you have with your visitors. They get to dictate what you can what certain types of equipment that you have in your house. They get to dictate. There's so much that you can't put into your Section 8 housing that you would have the freedom to do if you didn't have the government paying a part of your rent. So the minute you become dependent upon them, then they start to control portions of your life. And that's basically what this boils down to. In where the UK has single payer health care, now they're starting to move in to trying to control other aspects because the cost is obviously going to spiral out of control if you have health issues that can be controlled through diet. So they're going to reduce the cost of health care by regulating what you can order. That is not freedom. You're giving up something because you're giving up a part of your freedom because you aren't paying your own way through life and you're expecting the government to do it for you.